The story of physical therapy in Ohio begins with service and a shared purpose. In the early 1920s, physiotherapists, mostly women who had served as reconstruction aides during World War I, began to organize at the national level. In 1921, they formed a professional association, and by 1922, it had a name, the American Physiotherapy Association. At the same time, hospitals across Ohio were opening physical therapy departments, staffed by pioneers trained to help injured soldiers recover and return to life. As the profession grew, so did the need for connection. In 1922, a small group of therapists in Cleveland, just 14 at first, came together to share ideas and strengthen their practice. Within weeks, 10 of the therapists, led by President Clara Eisenbree, Secretary Alpha Robbins, and future President Emmy Kylan, formed what would become the Cleveland chapter of the American Physiotherapy Association. Through the 1920s and 1930s, these early leaders helped define educational standards and hosted annual meetings of the American Physiotherapy Association. And in 1935, with growing momentum and a shared vision, they took the next step, forming a statewide organization to unite therapists across Ohio. With Emmy Kylan as its first president, the Ohio chapter was born. The chapter worked to strengthen communication across the profession, launching a chapter newsletter that would become known as Physioscope. Ohio's national influence continued to grow. In 1938, one of its own, Helen Kaiser, rose to lead the National Association after years of leadership within both the Cleveland chapter and the Ohio chapter. From a small group of dedicated clinicians, Ohio was helping shape the future of physical therapy across the country. Then came a period of profound change. In 1940, chapters across the country were called to unify, adopting new constitutions and bylaws to align with a growing national profession. By the spring of 1941, Ohio answered that call, becoming the Ohio State chapter of the American Physiotherapy Association. But just months later, everything changed. With the United States entering World War II, the profession was once again called to serve. Many members joined the armed forces, while others returned to practice. Retraining and ensuring care continued at home. Over the next 3 years, 26 members of the Ohio chapter would serve in the military. The war also reshaped the profession itself, bringing more men into physical therapy through accelerated training programs designed to meet urgent demand. And even in the midst of global conflict, progress continued. In 1942, Ohio's first professional education program in physical therapy opened at the Cleveland Clinic, training the next generation of clinicians when they were needed most. Through it all, the community stayed connected, with meetings serving as a vital source of education and support. When the war ended, the profession emerged stronger. Membership grew. The National Association became the American Physical Therapy Association, and physiotherapist became physical therapist. With that growth came a new question. How do we formally recognize and protect this profession for the future? As the profession entered a new era, it began to take shape in lasting ways. On March 28, 1951, under the leadership of past President Marguerite McEachern, the Ohio chapter was formally incorporated as a non-profit organization, marking the official founding of the association. Education expanded. In 1955, under Gladys Woods, a new program at The Ohio State University became the first program in Ohio to offer both a bachelor's degree and a certificate of study. In 1960, under Geneva Johnson, Case Western Reserve University became the first in the nation to award a master's degree through a 2-year post-baccalaureate program, helping define advanced education in physical therapy. Though the program closed in 1971, its impact endured, shaping the future of the profession. With strong leadership and a growing educational foundation, the profession gained momentum. But one challenge remained: formal recognition and regulation. Throughout the 1950s, Ohio's leaders built support and organized for change. In 1957, that effort became a focused movement under President James Zimmerman. And in 1959, it reached a turning point. Backed by more than 300 physicians and healthcare organizations, physical therapy licensure legislation passed unanimously. On July 9, 1959, Ohio became the 36th state to license physical therapists, a defining moment, one that formalized the profession, protected patient care, and set the stage for everything that followed. And with licensure in place, the profession began to evolve. growing in skill, expanding in scope, and deepening its impact across every setting of care. In hospitals, schools, clinics, and communities, physical therapists were restoring movement, improving lives, and advancing care across Ohio. In 1971, that growth expanded the workforce as Tri-C launched Ohio's first accredited physical therapist assistant program, creating a new pathway and strengthening the care team. By the mid-1970s, momentum continued to build. Under leaders like Peter Town and Frank Pearson, OPTA strengthened its voice, advocating for the profession and those it serves. In 1977, two defining milestones shaped the future of practice. The Ohio Occupational Therapy and Physical Therapy Board was established, bringing greater autonomy, and the Physical Therapy Practice Act was updated, reflecting a profession growing in responsibility and reach. As the profession matured, so did its vision for care. In 1993, Ohio formally recognized the physical therapist assistant through licensure, further strengthening the care team. And in 2003, another milestone signaled the future, as Ohio University established the state's first Doctor of Physical Therapy program, elevating education, advancing expertise, and redefining the profession. And then came a moment decades in the making. For more than 25 years, Ohio physical therapists fought for a simple idea, that patients should be able to access care directly, without delay. Year after year, OPTA leaders stepped forward, building coalitions, meeting with legislators, and refusing to back down. Leaders like Jonathan Cooperman, Tom Caldwell, Debbie Heiss, Anthony DiFilippo, and many others turned persistence into progress. In 2003, it broke through. For the first time, direct access passed the Ohio Senate. In 2004, the House followed and the Senate concurred. And on February 3rd, Governor Bob Taft signed it into law. Ohio became the 39th state to allow patients direct access to physical therapy, a defining victory, decades in the making. Since direct access became law, the association has continued to lead, bringing the profession together, amplifying its voice, and advancing care across Ohio. In conference halls, at the State House, and in communities across the state, physical therapists, physical therapist assistants, and students, learning, leading, and moving the profession forward. From national recognition and a growing voice for physical therapist assistants, to critical advocacy wins. Milestone by milestone, year after year, the momentum has never stopped. And now, with that same energy, that same purpose, and that same belief in what's possible, we step into the next chapter, ready to shape the next 75 years.